Is a boilerplate operating agreement and private placement a bad idea? I don't know. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I can't comment on the legal component of this, but I can tell you from a practical point of view, when this kind of question comes up, it indicates a lot of things. So let's spend a couple minutes and think about this. First of all, understand what the purpose of the documents is. There's two different purposes. One, legal, and the other is business. From a legal perspective, the purpose of these documents is to protect the investors and the promoter by clearly defining everything about the deal, by clearly laying out all the issues, the way that the money gets paid, the way the promoter gets paid, all the risks, everything about the deal. Then everybody goes in understanding full well what's happening, and then they can't later on say, well, gee, if I knew that, I never would have invested, because that's about the worst thing you can hear. And if you don't disclose something material, investors can invoke the R word, and the R word is the worst word in our business, and that means rescission. Well, I'll tell you what, if I'd have known that, I never would have invested, so let's just rescind and give me my money back. And by that time, there isn't any money to give back because something went wrong, and that's a bad idea. So that's the legal reason that we have a private placement. From a business perspective, here's why we have it, and this is why a boilerplate arrangement is really a terrible idea, in addition to the fact that I'm sure attorneys would tell you that you don't write down all the risks correctly, you don't assess the things properly. But the private placement and the operating agreement, and the operating agreement is the document that controls the relationship between you and your investors. The whole purpose of this is for you, the promoter, to define the deal the way that you want to define it. And here's what that means. If you want to take fees for these kinds of things, fine, then those are the fees that you're going to take. And as long as the investors are okay with that, then everybody's okay and you're good to go. If you want to pay out your money, if you want to set your fees at a certain percent, if you want to set your timings a certain way, whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to have your voting happen in a certain way, all the big issues related to the private placement are laid out. So in a boilerplate arrangement, you're simply not going to have this kind of control. And even in a very simple agreement, let's say that you hire an attorney to write documents. Many attorneys don't have the skills to write complex documents, and you really want to be able to write something that is sophisticated, that's thorough, and that's going to get the job done for you over a long period of time. Because the one thing a lot of people don't realize is they write these documents when they don't have a lot of money up front, and they get stuck with those documents for years. You might have these documents in a syndication project. It might take 3 or 4 or 5 years for you to complete the project. A fund could be much longer. So you're stuck with these documents for a long time. So you don't want to cut corners. This is really an insurance policy for the investors and for you, the promoter, to make sure you get your deal just right, lay it out exactly the way that you want to, and have it work for you the way that you want. And this is a really important component, and this is the reason you have to learn and understand exactly the way these deals work, the way the documents work. You have to thoroughly understand them. A lot of people think they're just a necessary evil. I need a private placement, I need some documents. That is just not true. This is the one opportunity in your business career that you have the opportunity to define the deal and write the business rules exactly the way you want them, exactly the way you want to architect your deal. It's very rare in business that you get such an opportunity, and this is your opportunity in this business to do that. So be very careful, organize yourself, lay out the deal the way that you want, and put it together in the best way that you can, because this is really the way that great deals are done, especially if you're going to grow your fund, you want to add more rounds in the future, you want to grow your capitalization, you want to do more projects. You're not going to want to do that if you don't have the kind of deal that's going to work for you. So are boilerplate documents okay? I don't know. Maybe they're okay. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe you don't care about some of this other stuff. But if you're going to be in this business for the long haul, if you're going to be in this business and intend to really make a lot of money for yourself, for your investors, then you really need to have a lot more control than boilerplate documents are probably going to give you. And they're probably, you're not going to get the kind of control from a simple agreement that a somewhat inexperienced securities attorney would do. And there are plenty of attorneys who are not securities attorneys that will write these documents, and they probably shouldn't. So Be careful, get them done properly. This is your one chance to get them done right, because you're going to be stuck with these documents for a long time. And you cannot go back to the investors and say, hey, by the way, I forgot to put in this fee. I forgot to put in this clause that was going to be favorable to me. After the deal is signed and done, there is just no chance that you're going to get all the investors to go along with your idea and give you more. It just generally does not happen. So do it right the first time. This is a great business, so go out and stake your claim.